Welcome everybody. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to MUFC versus everybody. I am your host, Sean, and I'm just glad to be back today. I know it was a little later than we usually do. Had a few things going on this morning, some car stuff, and then some other things going on. Plus, I was really hoping to be able to wait until we got the official announcement, because it does sound like Matthias de Ligt and Ligt and Mazraoui could be announced sometime today, maybe tomorrow at the latest. So I was hoping to get to kind of do that today, but there's still a lot of things I wanted to get you guys' thoughts on. So I thought we might as well go live now. And if, we get the announcement today, I will go live a little later on this evening as well to get your thoughts on that. So we do have a little bit to cover today. Want you guys go ahead and get started by hitting that like button for me. Go ahead and subscribe to the channel. If you are new, check me out on Twitter, MUFC versus everybody. I've been going in on TalkSport a lot the last couple days after some absolute nonsense from Graham Souness, but it is what it is. Let's jump right in. So again, it does sound like, it's a matter of time, probably a matter of hours before de Ligt and Mazraoui are announced and officially unveiled as United players. Both were spotted in downtown Manchester last night. There were photos circulating this morning of both players at Carrington with training. I'm not sure if they trained with the first team or if, they were just kind of training on their own. But there were some photos. I know where there's some alleged speculation regarding what shirt numbers are available for them. I know the numbers 3 and 4 are available. Those are thrown out there. So we'll see. What do you guys think the shirt numbers are going to be? Do you think they'll be ready to go Friday? Do you think they'll both get kind of thrown right into the mix? I did see some reports, not really from anyone reputable, that Luke Shaw might be ready for Friday. We'll see how that goes. But it sounds like Mazraoui and de Ligt are both fit. Sounds like they could be ready to go Friday. I'd like to see them both. Honestly, we need some help. Do you think Ten Hag will start both on Friday against Fulham? That is only a few days away, you guys. I cannot believe it. Premier League season is going to start again in a couple days. Where are you guys going to be watching that one from? Don't forget to stop back Thursday. We will be doing the pre-match preview of that one shortly after Ten Hag's press conference. We'll get the most up-to-date team news and everything heading into that. We'll get our preview, our predictions, a little bit of oppositional analysis regarding Fulham, and we'll talk about that one. So in some related news, at least in terms of fullbacks, because the whole Mazraoui purchase was tied so heavily to us selling Aaron Wan-Bissaka, it has been officially announced both by United and by West Ham that Aaron Wan-Bissaka has officially become a West Ham player after 5 years with Manchester United. I know a lot of the fan opinion has been a little split on this. Again, I put out the other day, and like I've said a couple of times, we're moving Wan-Bissaka on not because he's bad. It's just he doesn't suit Ten Hag's system. And that's just the way it is. Same with David De Gea. David De Gea is not horrible. He's just not this system player. Ten Hag's system starts with the goalkeeper, defenders, everybody needs to be good on the ball, not just passing, but just composed, good, with the ball at their feet. And David De Gea is just not the best at that. So it is what it is. I'm not saying I prefer one or the other. It's just about the manager and the system that we're trying to play, and then you have to work with that. So it is what it is. We'll always love Wan-Bissaka for pocketing some of the best wingers in football, right? And even some not so good ones, even some crap ones, kind of like, Raheem Sterling, basically. But best of luck, Wan-Bissaka. Best of luck, pal, to you. Hope you'd kill it at West Ham, just not, against us. So let me guys know what your thoughts are on Wan-Bissaka leaving. Are you happy? Are you sad? Do you think we should have kept him? Do you think there were other options? Let me know your thoughts in the chat. On to a little bit of transfer news. So some eagle-eyed fans were worked up yesterday ahead of the championship match between Luton Town and Burnley. That match was yesterday afternoon. This was because Sander Berge was not included in the match day squad for Burnley yesterday. Obviously, he plays for Burnley. They were relegated, heavily linked with United. I looked it up, and I did find out that Berge didn't play in any of Burnley's preseason matches. So it sounds like maybe we know that he doesn't want to play in the championship anymore. We know we've been linked. We know we've made some contact allegedly. It sounds like maybe if it's true that he did let Burnley know that he didn't want to be in the squad, that they've kind of left him out. Like another player we've been linked to, we'll talk about in a little bit. Neither the club or Burnley's new manager have mentioned anything about Berge, though, not ahead of that match. So it's kind of hush-hush, but we kind of all know what's going on because we see it all the time, right? When a player wants to leave, they've let their club know they want to leave. They tend to be kind of pushed out a little bit. That's just going to happen. So Dharmesh Sheth with Sky Sports actually also added that United are working on midfielders and talks are ongoing with Burnley regarding Sander Berge. He adds that the dialogue remains open also with Monaco about Youssouf Fofana too. And so on Youssouf Fofana, this is coming from Italian journalist Luca Chili, who's speaking with MUMC MPB. He claims the United are expected to make an offer, a good offer for Fofana that comes close to what Monaco are hoping to get. I think Monaco are holding out for like 25, 30 million. I don't think that Milan offered, I think they offered like 17 million, if I remember correctly, which obviously is not what, Monaco want. It sounds like, according to Luca Chili, that Milan have actually fallen behind in the race for Fofana's signature, and United have kind of jumped to the head of the queue there. Fofana was not included in Monaco's squad last night, and Gazzetta dello Sport claims that this wasn't because of fitness or injury either. So another player, it looks like maybe is pushing for an exit, not going to be part of the plans, and so the club is kind of moving on without them, which happens. So Fabrizio Romano reported this morning that Jorge Mendes, Manuel Ugarte's agent, is in England today to discuss a transfer to United. He reiterated that personal terms have been agreed for weeks. United do need to sell a player for PSG, or we need PSG to lower their price, which it sounds like they could be doing according to some Uruguayan outlets as well. Sam C with the United stand, connecting both of these, so we kind of jumped from Fofana to Ugarte quickly, but it's all coming full circle, trust me. So Sam C with the United stand actually claims that United view Ugarte and Fofana as independent deals. It's not either or, it's both. And he actually claims that we could actually sign both players if we raise enough funds through sales. I can't imagine that we're like, maybe it's just because I'm not used to it, right? Doing like some quality deals and multiple deals. But can you picture United making all the, and like signing two players at once that could be real today, and then two more solid midfielders ahead of the close of the transfer window? We've already brought in Euro and Xerxes. Now we could potentially get two more. That's insane. I would have never thought that we'd be getting that many players this window. If we get 6 players in, if we manage to sell some players that really need to be sold to, that would be a really good window. But we'll talk more about that in a future video as well. Sticking with midfield for a minute here. Now we got 9 of you guys watching, 1 like button. I want you guys to go ahead and hit that like button for me while you're here. It takes 2 seconds. Subscribe to the channel if you are new. We'll keep talking about midfielders. We got a little bit of an out of the blue link today to a new midfield name. This is coming from Rodrigo Fregoso. He is with TNT Sports in Brazil. He claims that United have made an inquiry to the camp of Nottingham Forest midfielder Danilo. So this guy, he's 23-year-old Brazilian defensive midfielder, plays for Forest. Reportedly, Forest would be willing to negotiate around a £35 million deal for Danilo. So it sounds like, again, we're not putting all our eggs in one basket. We're not chasing one player all summer with no other targets. We're reaching out. We're working on multiple deals. We're getting kind of terms and everything finalized and agreed upon and understood with multiple targets, multiple positions, so we can make a move when we need to make a move, ready to walk away if we need to, and so on and so forth, which is a huge change from what we've seen for a long time at United with guys like Woodward, Murtaugh, Arnold. These guys were just totally incompetent when it comes to this Three Stooges, right? Does anyone out there know about more about Danilo at Forest? Any Forest fans watching? I won't profess to be a Forest fan. I was a little bummed when they signed Ibrahim Sangare from PSV Eindhoven because I really like Sangare. He hasn't looked great since signing for Forest. Forest have gone through a bit of a rough patch though in the last few years, so nobody's really looked great in that squad. But apparently Danilo, who's looked great enough for United to at least reach out and make contact with him. But I'm not going to pretend I know a lot about him. I did look at some of his numbers and some of the profile player he is. Plays in that double pivot, plays in that 6 role, but he does kind of get up and down the pitch. So I like that. He's actually defensively, he's got good numbers. He's in the top 10% when it comes to interceptions, blocks, and clearances. So he's good at kind of reading the danger where he needs to be, whether that's to intercept a pass or put himself in a good position to make those blocks and make those clearances. And that's usually something that either comes two ways, either with experience or with natural kind of reading of the game, and that's both of those are good. We've seen that from the experience standpoint with someone like Casemiro, Varane, Johnny Evans, even. They know kind of where the danger is coming from because they've been playing for a long time. Sometimes, though, you get players who are just naturally able to read the game and know where the danger is coming from and can put themselves in the best position to handle it. Sounds like that's, at least looking at the numbers and looking at a little bit of Danilo play, that's what he has. Most of his tackles are in his own defensive third. So again, patrolling his kind of that delicate area of the pitch, kind of like what we need, someone who's able to kind of break up play, win the ball back in our own half and get it back and start the attack again. He'd be a big help in that regard. He's, again, plays in that double six, double pivot. He's familiar with that deeper role in that 4-2-3-1. He does get a lot of touches in the opposition half. So if that's tackles, if that's interceptions, if that's that suits what we're trying to do. Keep most of our play concentrated in the opposition half of the pitch, win the ball high up the pitch, transition again from a high position. He's actually got pretty decent long ball numbers too. He's got really good high percentile for long balls, and so it's like, to me, that's an added bonus when you have someone who's a tackler, a ball winning midfielder, to be able to have a decent pass on him. He's got very good take-on numbers too, very good aerial duels. So he's good with the ball at his feet. Successful take-ons, progressive dribbles are very good. He's got good aerial duel winning ability. So again, kind of that physical presence we've been looking at, ball winning, and then the bonus he does offer a little bit off the ball. And he's young. He's only 23, so could be a surprising new link, could be a surprising new name, could be a good alternative to Ugarte if PSG aren't willing to lower their price. We'll see. From what it sounds like, there's a possibility that we're looking at two midfielders either way. So who knows? We've been linked to so many. Who can keep up anymore, right? Going back to PSG. So I told you that the PSG and Sancho discussions weren't necessarily over, right? We got some news that, we were walking away from Ugarte, but we're still talking with Sancho. We got some news that Desiree Doué is going to PSG and not Bayern. We speculated, okay, what does that mean for Jadon Sancho? Could he still be going to PSG? Sounds like maybe that's still an option. We got some news that, again, Desiree Doué rejected the chance to go to Bayern Munich and decided to join PSG. I asked you out if you thought, what is that? Is that it for Sancho going to Paris? Well, Dean Jones with Give Me Sport doesn't think so necessarily. He reported last night that PSG are interested in a loan deal with an obligation to buy for Jadon Sancho from Manchester United. So again, that was popped up a couple weeks ago. Is there an opportunity for a loan? Both players, there was an opportunity to get Ugarte on loan with an obligation. Maybe financially right now that might work out best for both clubs. Initial loan fee, obligation, and then it comes down to agreeing on a fee for an obligation if that's the case. Is there a chance we would see Ugarte kind of reintroduced when it comes to that Jadon Sancho discussion? Like I said, mutual loans, mutual obligation to buy for both clubs. Again, it could work out best for both as far as from a financial standpoint is concerned. It was reported actually this morning that Luis Enrique has left Ugarte out of PSG squads just for training matches now too. So he's basically exiled. So that to me sounds like Ugarte's exit from PSG is a matter of when, not if. And again, I think that's coming from French journalist Loic Tanzi. I don't think that we'll be paying what PSG want for Ugarte. I think that we're playing the waiting game. Like I've said weeks ago, could walking away from that deal the other week, could that be a ploy to just let them kind of bide the time, let them sweat a little bit, see who blinks first? PSG kind of went after Doué. They need some more money now. They didn't get anything for Mbappe, right? Sounds like they could be willing to lower that asking price. So we'll see what that looks like. I do like Ugarte a lot. I do think we need someone like him. I think the Premier League needs more players like that. I think football needs more players who are just a little more of that, just kind of take no crap from anybody attitude, like Lisandro Martinez kind of thing, like we used to have in Kino or Yap Stam or somebody. I think football needs those kind of players. We spoke about that a little bit on Saturday in our award show. If you haven't yet gone and watched that video, go check it out. I know it's a little longer. If you're sitting down to play FC24, if you're working out, if you're sitting in the kitchen cooking or whatever, give it a listen to. It's well worth the time. You can recap, Community Shield. We look at some season awards, but we do talk a little bit about Roy Keane and how I feel like football needs more personalities like that. Now, I think we've gotten away from that, and I do think it's needed, especially at clubs. I think a lot of fans at clubs would want someone like that who does have high standards, who doesn't back down from the opposition, who does kind of push their teammates to a higher level. And I like that. I think we need more players like that, more personalities like that. So let me know your thoughts on our Ugarte and Sancho. Sounds like that deal's not done yet. Couple more weeks left in the window, so if something's going to get done, it needs to happen soon. But we'll see what happens. I would have loved to have a new midfielder or two in before the weekend, but what are you going to do? Moving on a little bit to potential exit. So Scott McTominay's potential exit from United is turning into a bit of a transfer saga this summer, as I've said before. We've seen Fulham bids rejected. We've seen interest from Turkish clubs. And now The Athletic reports that Napoli are actually weighing up an approach for McTominay. I think Napoli just lost, who's the Polish midfielder? I always forget his name now. Someone will remind me later on. I think they just lost him. I think they still have Anguissa there as well. But it sounds like maybe they're, if true, they're interested in maybe bringing in Scott McTominay. The report adds that Everton, Brentford, Fenerbahce, and Galatasaray have all made inquiries. And of course, Fulham are still interested. So again, Scott McTominay turning into the hot commodity this summer. It's turning into a bit of a transfer saga, like I said. I don't think anybody would have guessed that Scott McTominay would ever been involved in a transfer saga. And that's not me trying to disrespect him. It just kind of came out of nowhere, right? And so interesting. I do think that if he had his preference, he would want to stay at United. I think if he had to leave, I think he'd prefer to stay in the Premier League. So I think it could be a Fulham or Everton or Brentford thing, but stranger things have happened. I mean, I never would have thought that Chris Smalling would have gone to like Italy, for instance, but he went to Italy. He did well at Roma and was reunited with Jose Mourinho for a little bit, and it worked out nicely for them. They grabbed the trophy. So stranger things have happened, but let me know your thoughts on McTominay. Would you sell him? Would you keep him? Would you hold out for more money? Who would you bring in as a replacement for McTominay? Because again, like anyone else, like Wan-Bissaka, we need a replacement. If we sell McTominay, we need a replacement, So it's all kicking off a little bit here late in the transfer window. Corey Van Duzen, I'm so happy with the Lit and Maz coming in. Xerxes and Cheeto, good things, all good things. Yeah, man, I think I'm super excited with what we've done. It's a little bit of a bummer that we've left a couple things a little too late. It's a bummer that Yoro got that injury as well. I would have liked to see some more players in. I've never been about quantity when it comes to signings. I think that it takes time and it takes, meticulous recruitment and scouting and patience sometimes to build a proper squad. So I've never been a scattergun. Let's just buy everybody Chelsea and let the chips fall where they fall. But I do like the way we're moving. It is, again, I wish, it's a bummer that we got some injuries. It is a bummer that we haven't seen enough people sign for preseason, because knowing Ten Hag, I worry, like we saw with Xerxes, I worry that if we get a couple midfielders in or whatever before the start of the season, we still won't see them for a couple weeks. Kind of like with Casemiro, when we signed Casemiro a couple matches into that season, we still started McTominay because Erik Ten Hag is a bit of a stickler for just fitness and familiarity with his system. And so I hope that he's softened a little bit in that regard, but I'm not going to hold my breath on that. But yeah, thanks for checking out the channel, man. Thanks for the comment, man. I appreciate you, Corey. 14 people watching, 5 likes, guys. Hit that like button for me real quick and subscribe if you're new. I got a little bit of a reminder today, and hopefully I reminded people listening on the radio of why you don't take the word of pundits and commentators and journalists as gospel, especially when it comes to Manchester United. So I don't know what I have SiriusXM, and pretty much the only thing I listen to on SiriusXM is SiriusXM FC, the football channel. A lot of different shows throughout the day. One of the ones I usually catch in the morning is Grumpy Pundits. So that's Rodney Marsh and Tommy Smith, right? I end up calling in a lot because when you've got ex-City player trying to spout nonsense about Manchester United, I feel it falls upon me to come in and pull him up on some of his poor takes on some of these. So Rodney Marsh, of course, had nothing but incorrect things to say about United today, talking about our preseason tour and the Community Shield. So he claimed basically he doesn't think we'll have a good season based on preseason performances. And he actually invited United fans to call in with their thoughts. So I called in, as I want to do. They know me now. They know that I'm a United fan. I just give them my name and they know, because I do this all the time, as you guys know if you've watched the channel. But I reminded him not to take preseason too seriously. People seem to only take preseason seriously when they beat United. Nobody spoke about City and Chelsea when they were losing preseason matches. They only want to talk about United. Nobody cared about the Community Shield when Jose Mourinho considered it a trophy his first season, but all of a sudden it's a big deal that City beat it in pens after we were actually the better side for 90 minutes. But that's neither here nor there. But Rodney decided to ask me, and he said it was a good point, to be fair. He said it's a good point, but he did ask me, why is Ten Hag using Maguire and Evans so much in preseason? He took that as a sign that that's going to be the partnership. And this is why you don't listen to what they say, because they don't know what they're talking about. They don't do research. I said, like, no, Lisandro Martinez and De Ligt and or Lenny Euro are going to be the partnership. And he challenged me. He said, well, why didn't they play preseason? And I'm like, they weren't there. They were with Copa America or the Euros. They weren't part of the preseason tour. And he just wouldn't let it go. And I literally, and I told my wife, and I was like, am I a jerk? Because I feel like my reaction was a bit too sarcastic, but I was honestly got confused. I asked him, like, Rodney, are you asking me why it's not physically possible for a human being to be in two places at once? I don't understand what you're saying. Licha was not with the squad on preseason. He was with another competition. Like, that's why he's not part of the thing. Like, it boggles me. I mean, these are the people that have their shows and they get paid, however much to sit there and talk about. And if you don't know anything, and if you're just listening, you'll take that as fact, and it's just not. So Danny B, big up, man. No, it's no worries, man. It's a different, much later than I usually go. Like I said at the beginning of the show, I was hoping we would get the official announcement, the official unveiling of Ligt and Mazraoui. I was kind of waiting for that, but there is enough news to kind of talk about now, and I'll come back a little later on tonight to get everyone's thoughts on that if and when it's announced today. A new channel. Good luck. Thanks, man. Thanks for stopping by. Thanks for checking it out. The channel's been around a couple months. Tons of videos. Go back and check a couple of them out. The one from the weekend, Saturday, was really fun. Our award show, our player awards for the 23-24 United season. A lot of good takes on there. Some good insight on some players that we were linked to, some coaches and everything. If you want to learn a little bit more about like Rene Haka or Ruud van Nistelrooy as coaches, go check out those videos as well. Throughout the summer, until the transfer window closes, I'm usually here once or twice a day, in the morning and maybe in the evening with the news. Throughout the season, I'll do like a match preview, usually day before match, after we get kind of the team news and Ten Hag does his presser. Day of the match afterwards, I'll probably do an initial reaction to the result. And then the day after that, it'll usually be like a three thoughts kind of a thing. And then if any major news comes out throughout the week, we'll jump on that too. So it does slow down a little bit during the season, obviously, because we're not heavy in transfer rumors. But I do appreciate you stopping by, my friends. Always good to see new faces. Corey says, maybe I'm in the minority, but I don't freak out over preseason. It's for working out the kinks and evaluation. I am cautiously optimistic about this season. We're moving in the right direction. Yeah, and that's kind of what I told Rodney. Like, we don't take preseason too seriously. Like you guys have told me, like, it's about fitness, getting some minutes under the legs, getting a look at some of the youngsters, and hopefully getting some of the first teamers back and not starting the season off too cold, too rusty. And honest to God, the biggest win I could hope for out of preseason is just no injuries, as we've seen for the last several years. It is what it is. I hate friendlies. I hate international breaks. I hate all of it. I would have just played some kids, got a good look at them, let us show us what they're all about. Thankfully, we did get a decent look at guys like Collier and Harry Amos and everybody. So I'm just, it is what it is. But as far as Rodney Marsh is concerned, there's a lot of these pundits, whether it's Graham Souness, Craig Burley, Stevie Nicol, Rodney Marsh, Shaka Hislop over the weekend was talking all sorts of nonsense as well. This is why simply being a player a long time ago shouldn't be the only requirement for punditry, because you kind of also have to know what you're talking about. And so it is what it is, but it's unfortunate. But this is why you don't take everything they say as gospel, as fact. Some people do, some people prefer to, some people pretend to, because if anything make United look bad, but it is what it is. And to close things out, do we want to take a moment today to laugh at Liverpool? We can bring the LAL hashtag back, the laugh at Liverpool hashtag back. After bringing in 4 midfielders last summer, right? Gravenberch, McAllister, Szoboszlai, Endo. After bringing in these midfielders last summer, all we heard all year long, right? Well, we need a 6. Endo isn't a 6, et cetera, et cetera. It's complete garbage. Then Liverpool fans were gassed. They got so gassed up about Martin Zubimendi. Oh, we're going to sign him. Oh, we're going to be cooking. Look at this Arne Slot ball. Like, look at what we're going to do. They were all excited. I was about to sign him. We saw the links. Well, Fabrizio Romano, bless that man, doing the Lord's work, threw some cold water on those links. He revealed that Zubimendi has rejected Liverpool and will be signing a new deal to stay with Sociedad. Sociedad are his boyhood club. He loves it. I respect the loyalty. I think that we need more of that in today's game. I think that's another thing that's kind of gone away. I'm not saying it needs to happen. Like, you don't need to be a one club player. I respect it when a player does do it. Like, but that's a tough battle. Some people like Harry Kane. Some people accuse Harry Kane for so long of, or like who else? Letitia gets it sometimes. It's okay to stick and stay loyal. It's okay to take a lower pay cut. It's okay to resign yourself to maybe being like, oh, I'm not going to win any trophies. It is what it is. But it's going to be interesting to see what happens this summer for Liverpool now. I think I'll enjoy that little bit of news with a nice good sip of Scouse Tears energy drink. Scouse Tears, you'll always cry alone. This is a new flavor today. This is what flavor is this? This is we didn't sign a 6, so that's why we won't win the league flavor. Extra bitter, extra salty. This one, and extra has a little hint of deflection in there. So go check out Scouse Tears energy drink, the sponsors of my channel. Is it bad though that I kind of want us to buy Zubimendi now just for the banter? I don't even care if we play him. I don't care if it means we don't get anybody else. Part of me is like, just buy him, and just for the banter alone, I think that would be amazing. But that's going to be it for me. As always, let me check Twitter real quick before I take off. You guys get involved in the chat if you have any comments or anything. Like I say, this is your channel. This is the channel built on your opinion, your thoughts, your reactions. I'm just here to kind of put the topics out there and then hear what everybody has to say. So if you guys have any, oh no, you guys. Oh, we have some interesting news here. I got to check the source here. So we got a journalist here revealing apparently Luke Shaw has picked up a calf injury. He will hopefully be back after the international break. Is that for real? Luke Shaw will miss the opening games of the Premier League season due to a calf injury sustained at the start of preseason change. I'm going to wait a little bit to see if this is real, but if so, like, this is why I said from going into the transfer window, guys, we needed a left back. We can't plan on Luke Shaw as being our fit left back because he's just never fit. He's been here 10 years. He's been fit for half of that time. And this is why, like, you're not fit. And then you go to England when you really shouldn't have. You're fit for England for a couple of games. Then you come back and you're not fit for United. Like, priorities, we see your priorities. You want to hang out with your English buddies. You want to do the England thing. You thought maybe you had a chance to win something. And it's just, so it's probably going to be Mazraoui at left back. This is why we really needed to look at left backs. Tyrell Malacia, can anyone even tell me what Tyrell Malacia's injury was? I still don't know, but reports coming out that Luke Shaw has picked up a calf injury in preseason training and will miss the start of the season. That's ridiculous. That's so ridiculous. Wow. Like, and I think the most frustrating part about the Luke Shaw picking up a calf injury is that I'm not even like surprised. Like, it's just one of those things where it's just not a surprise at all. So we know that there was reports coming out this morning that maybe he was going to be ready for Fulham. We got the updates coming over ahead of the Community Shield that he wasn't fit, but not because he was injured. So I don't know if that was a lie. I don't know if he just picked up something like today or what, but let me know your thoughts on Luke Shaw potentially picking up another calf injury. Yeah, we gotta move him on. We really needed to bring. This is maybe why I said we need to go look at Ferdy again. I know Danny B loves Ferdy. I love Ferdy a lot. I listed that a lot of left backs in that video I did a few months back on left back targets. Go check that one out to learn a little bit more of some of the good left backs out there. Don't be surprised to see some Chilwell links pop up, some Cucurella links pop up again. Don't be surprised to see any of that. I did see a few tentative questionable links again to Marcus Alonso this morning that I just hope are not true. And I don't know why the football world has apparently chosen to forget the fact that Marcus Alonso literally driving drunk well over the speed limit and killed a person. Like, we all just are cool with forgetting about that. Like, it doesn't make sense to me how he is not in prison, let alone playing in European football. But it is what it is. Ruben says we have Amos. We do have Harry Amos. Whether or not Harry Amos is ready to be thrown into the deep end like that is yet to be seen. I think he started preseason a little quiet. He steadily improved, I thought. Same with Collier over preseason. So I like what I see from Amos, but would you want to start him right off the bat? I think I would kind of consider him rotation with probably he's going to be Mazraoui now. So we'll see what happens there. But we do have Amos, and I do like what I see, but he's still very, very young. Corey says, totally fine without Shaw. I don't rate him like others. Might as well do just fine. He's one of those guys you can't count on. You can't count on is what it is. This is who he is. It wasn't impressed with his Euro performance. I think Shaw, especially in the last few years, has looked very, very, very good when he's fit. It's just that when he's fit, it's just few and far between. And so that's why I said, like, it's that old adage, right? Availability is the best ability. And so if you're not ever available, you can't be counted on. And so I think it's just a matter of just you can't plan on him for more than 50% of the season. So why is he in the plans? So Rever, welcome back, man. How you been? I think it says, I think against Fulham, Dallo left back, Maz right back. I mean, Dallo has played left back several times. Even before joining United, he played left back a lot in Portugal. And so it's not totally out of the realm of possibility. Mazraoui has played left back at Bayern and for Morocco. And so both can do it. And so I like the versatility there. That does leave me with a little more confidence. Hopefully we won't be shoehorning people in like we've had to do the last couple of years. We'll see how it goes. Ruben, what will happen to Reguilon? I thought I saw that Barcelona were linked with Reguilon the last couple of days. Obviously, he was with us on loan for the first half of season. Last year, we were told by our medical staff, Ten Hag was told that Shaw and Malacia will be fine, and we ended Reguilon's loan, and then Malacia and Shaw were not fine. He went to Brentford, Reguilon. So he wasn't like the best left back. I think he and Rashford had a few bright moments of link-up play. I liked his attitude, but is he United quality? Probably not. But anybody but Marcus Alonso, honestly. So let me know you guys' thoughts. I'm going to check one more time to make sure this Shaw stuff isn't just bogus. What you get in the chat before I let you guys get back to what you're doing. Like I said, oh, yep, official coming from United now. This is officially coming from Manchester United on Twitter. Luke Shaw update. Our left back will miss the start of the Premier League season. You see this? Yeah, that's what we're looking at here. So there's that. That's fun. Jeez. Yeah, we got to move on from Luke Shaw, guys. This is don't be surprised if you see us maybe scramble a little bit to do something late, whether that's a loan or full-on signing. Don't be surprised. Danny B says, it's a pity Reg is so injury-prone. He will be cheap and a good squad option. Yeah, Reguilon wasn't bad. He's definitely, like you're saying, a good squad option. But is he the one that's going to make the difference between, getting us over the line to challenging for trophies and stuff? I mean, it's yet to be seen. Jose Mourinho really rated him. I know we were linked with him heavily before he ended up going to Spurs. It just hasn't ever been like that convincing. But you're right, for rotation, I thought he was fine. He just wasn't going to be like, let's start Reguilon over anyone else. He wouldn't be your first choice if you had, the money to buy a left back probably. But don't be surprised to see us swoop in for him on loan again. Who knows? I know he loved his time here. I mean, once a Red, always a Red, even if you're only here for half a year on loan. Ruben says, Eric Ten Hag got players you wanted, so what do you think if we end up again like last season? Will they still give him a chance? Well, last season we did have a lot of injuries, so you can say we bought the players, yes, but how many of them are actually fit? This year we're starting off with one player injured for three months. Ligt and Mazraoui are going to have to get match fit. We still need a midfield. Our midfield was awful. we can't sell players, so it's kind of hurting us financially. But yeah, if everyone can stay fit, yeah, I do expect it. And we'll talk about that in a future video. We'll kind of look back at the transfer window and rate the transfer window, rate some of the signings. And then also probably in that same video, give our expectations for the season moving forward, not solely based on the transfer window. That's why we're going to do it towards the end or shortly after the transfer window, after we've seen a couple matches of the season already. But come back for that one. But yeah, you're way ahead of us there. Whoever says, what a shame. Next summer, Shaw will have to be replaced. Yeah, I think next summer could be make or break for this year, could be make or break for Shaw and for Marcus Rashford. Next summer could be a big kind of roll the dice and make a decision on one of those, one or both of those guys next summer, because they're both around the same age. They both just are a little bit up and down, and it needs to be. It's one of those "what have you done for me lately" kind of scenarios, right? Shaw just can't be counted upon. Malacia, I still don't know what was going on with Malacia. We needed a left back more than we needed to get rid of Wan-Bissaka, in my opinion. But it is what it is now. These are the kind of decisions that make or break managers' tenures at a club. So at the end of the day, it's Ten Hag and the recruitment team who are going to bear the responsibility for that. So it is what it is. Ruben says, I'd rather put Pellistri right back. Look how he did perform. Pellistri was not so hot playing right back against City. And I don't blame him for that. He's not a right back. But if Pellistri and right back are not, to me, even two things to be mentioned in the same sentence. So Corey says, I agree. Move on. Next man up. Can't count on a guy who's never fit. We've got guys to cover right now, but need depth. Maybe add another before window closes. MS time to step up. Yeah, unfortunately for MS and some of these other youngsters, depending on what happens, it might be just like a sink or swim kind of thing. Fergie used to do it, like we spoke about in that video for the anniversary of Jimmy Murphy's birthday. You know, he did it after Munich. It was one of those things where there was players that were young, probably too young, but they didn't have a choice. It had to, survival of the fittest, get thrown in the deep end, and it is what it is, trial by fire kind of scenario. Corey also says that Pellistri cannot defend. Showed in that Shield. Yeah, and I don't blame him too much for that. It was a needs must at that point. But it is what it is. I think Onana was a little bit at fault for that equalizer too. He didn't quite track where that cross was going, and was kind of rooted to that near post. We really should have anticipated that cross coming in. So it is what it is. Rever says Pellistri is available for transfer. I think he will leave. I think Pellistri will leave too. We saw some comments. I think the writing was on the wall for Pellistri when his agent made those comments middle of the season that he needs to leave basically to play. He's all these signed him. He's only ever really gone on loan. He had flashes of what I'd like to see from our wingers. Get into the box, put the ball in, find an attacker. A lot of our wingers don't do that enough, in my opinion. But then it becomes a question of quality for Pellistri. So, it is. I think he might be better off in his team in Spain or something like that to start, and then maybe he can earn his way up next. So, Ruben says Aaron Ten Hag don't have a choice to play MS lefty. He is a left back, so he must not take full and lightly. Xerxes, all pressure on him now. We'll see. I'd like to actually see Xerxes play, right? I was hoping we'd see a little bit of him in preseason, but it doesn't sound like that was in the plan. So what are you going to do? A lot of players are going to have to be thrown in the deep end. Ligt and Mazraoui could be thrown in right off the bat on Friday. Xerxes could be thrown in off the bat. I mean, we have Xerxes. We don't have Højlund. It's not going to have a choice, right? Xerxes got to play. We might have to start Amos, and then maybe we'll see. I think maybe we'll probably see Mazraoui start on the left, and then if we're doing well, maybe bring Amos on for like the last 10 minutes or so and just tell him just take care of the ball. Don't get caught too high up the pitch. Don't get sucked into, a player with the ball. Just be patient, play a little conservative, but we'll see what happens. We'll come back Thursday for that. So until then, that is going to do it for me. Thank you guys for stopping by today. Thank you, everybody. Ruben, Rever, Danny, Corey. Thank you guys for stopping by, giving your thoughts. I do appreciate that. Might come back later on tonight if there's, a big reveal, unveiling of the Ligt and Mazraoui. Otherwise, tomorrow morning. Don't forget to like the video on the way out. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Cheers, Danny. Good to see you again, my friend. And I will see you guys on the next one. Later.